What's your inspiration?
Milk.
Milk.
People believe that it's me. People believe I'm stupid, I'm hamallu, I dare say uneducated, because that's the persona that I tend to push off on the show. It's not me, I believe. The reason why the podcast is that way, it's because we wanted to push that agenda, we wanted to push that tone of voice.
Happy New Year and welcome to a brand new episode of the GrowUp podcast. My name is Daniel. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe on all the socials. Larry, put the socials on the screen now. Thank you very much. We're in episode 9 and episode 9 is a special episode, multitude of reasons. So as you can see, we're in a brand new podcasting room, which we have been setting up and trying to build together. I can wear a black t-shirt again. I'm very happy about it. But more importantly, we have a very special guest to kick off 2024.
Thank you.
Which is Max.
I'm humbled.
Welcome.
The word special gets used on me in different circumstances.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with you, Max? Why are you so special? No, but very humbled to join us. Obviously, Max is known for a multitude of things. Started off with Pigsty in the Kitchen a long time ago, 2010, right?
Probably. Honestly, you might probably know more than me because I can't remember. It's been way too long. That was like the first like comedy thing that I've ever tried to do, and I honestly believe it was something really. It was really good for the time. I dare say, not to sound arrogant, I dare say it was too early for its time. As in Malta at that time, I think social media was still a bit.
Wow.
It was all about the Facebook, the high five,
yes,
MySpace, and these types of things. This was right at the very beginning. That was ages ago. So I really do believe if I have to rehash the content now, I'm pretty sure it will do really well.
Are we seeing a comeback of Pigsty in the Kitchen 2025?
Nah, it's difficult.
It's difficult.
I spoke to the producer, who at the time, because it used to be just us three and me, Mauro, a good friend of mine, who was the other chef, and then there's Cedric Vella. I don't know if you know him, but he's like a freelance videographer. He has his own.
I've heard
he's
his
like
name.
A professional, and like he started off way there in the beginning. We started off together, sort of, on this thing, and he's just grown and he's blown. He's incredible, and so he used to film the stuff. And then he used to edit it, and then I used to do the sound, because that used to have shitloads of editing, a ridiculous amount of editing.
Really?
Oh, it's crazy how long it used to take us to do it. For like some, late 20-year-olds, I don't know how old we were, to be honest, I can't remember at this stage. It was a real lot of work, incredible.
14 years ago, so good math.
I'm horrible at that at the moment. 24, 22, we had just started that stuff, so it was a lot of hard work. So, and nowadays, given we had absolutely nothing to do in the past, except just simply sit down and waste time, now it's impossible to forget it. There's no chance, unfortunately.
Right. So, unfortunately, guys, Pigsty in the Kitchen is cancelled for life.
Yeah, for now, for sure, at least.
But, I mean, you started from Pigsty, then obviously you've had social media success with multiple viral TikToks, the Xbox vs PlayStation saga, the gas cylinder one. So clip these as we go along there as well. But you've had multiple social media collabs, obviously with the boys, with other. I'm pretty sure you've had multiple collabs as well with other, maybe with other companies, organizations. So esports casting, and now into your podcast, Bite to Bacon.
That's my new child, my new baby.
Yes. Which probably will be close to releasing the next episode by the time this.
It's actually literally started 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
So I'm extremely curious as to how many viewers there be concurrent. In half an hour, I'll take a quick check at my mobile.
You can absolutely feel free
to see what's going on. So
feel free. But thank you for making us laugh. I've definitely laughed at your gas cylinder TikTok a few times.
You're not one of those from the podcast who says commenting like, "Oh, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves."
No. I am not. I would never do that to a fellow creator. I'm calling myself a creator.
No, and you are.
But you've got this no filter and apologetic style of comedy. It's not for everyone, as you just said, but. You've pushed that genre into the Maltese scene kind of because it's not widely accepted. However, as we can see from the sheer amount of views, people obviously want it. So, great to have you here.
I think even with the TikToks, that was like something that I set out to do I mean, even Pigsty in the Kitchen, to a certain extent, it wasn't the classical sort of humor that you see in normal Maltese, whatever television you want to call it, because at the time there was pretty much, I can't remember much that there was going on online, on actually like on free
I don't think there was
sort
much.
of places. There wasn't much going on. So even that one was a bit pushing the boundaries. As we used to make a mess, some stupid recipes, ridiculously disastrous. And TikTok, that's where it's without me wanting, man, I want that edgy comedy. I like the edgy, the dark, the witty comedy. I mean, I love slapstick as well. I can go all day talking about fart jokes. I love it. But obviously the thought enticing stuff, the shock factor one, especially the shock factor, is really important. I think it's really needed in comedy. So I think it comes naturally to try and shock people for me, or else at least with my content. Let's put it that way.
And I think you did something that was really smart, because you used, obviously with TikTok, the ability to use popular videos and kind of duet them, and then further boost obviously your viewership. But then obviously your content needs to also be good for it to grow even further. But I think you did something really smart that not many people from the country started doing it early on. Obviously now people are more adept at using it, but I think one of your most popular videos was 2021, 2022, right? Initially.
It was in COVID. It all started in COVID.
During COVID.
I started in COVID. I was always creating. Ever since I was a kid, I used to always like doing something artistically profound. I mean, even if it's for me, be it whatever, even if it's just me learning how to code a website, for me, I see that as a challenge, something artistic, because you get to say how you want the stuff to work, and you get to maneuver yourself, everything around yourself. So for me, it sort of falls under the same creativity like bubble that's in my head, that always wants to try and press the gas and reach further and further. And then there was music, which is the same. 20 years playing drums, so I was 20 years writing music constantly. So then that was a huge chunk of my life, a massive chunk. But yes, I mean, in 2021, I think the video that, funny enough, most people mention is the ones you said of the films. There's one of Scarface, where I think my first big break, if you want to so call it, in Malta was when I got movies, famous movies that everybody knows, scenes that everybody knows. And that was obviously one of the main reasons why I wanted to opt for these movies, because it's like, without wanting, people will tend to see it more because they can associate with it. Maybe they search for movie clips, so you have it as a tag. So it adds a bit to the virality, in my opinion. And I got movie clips, and I changed the story completely, and I edited myself in between. So let's say of Scarface, there was a time when a scene when he comes in the room and he calls his partner to tell him that the deal went wrong. In reality, I edited such that I was on the other side of the phone calling him as to why he didn't fix my AC on the wall. And that did really well. And then I just start shouting at Al Pacino, and then it did really well. And that was the first sort of series I did. So it moved on to those.
I remember those actually. Now it's triggered in my head, but
that's what everyone mentions. That it's incredible. The Scarface, no air condition. Where's the air condition? Everyone says the same thing. It's like the number one. It's insane.
It's impressive that you can use something like that as a springboard. Yeah. But then your content has to be good as well, right? So you can't just use it and that's it.
I agree with you. Listen, the content has to always be good. The content has to always be good. And but I really believe that, especially now after all these years that I've been doing this, I mean, not to sound like big-headed or arrogant, but I think or at least I believe, let's put it this way, I believe I grasped what makes things viral, or I might be able to understand what goes viral. I can't say, no one can say he has a clear 100% recipe, because there really isn't. But I have managed to make 3 different social channels go viral, and I believe that says something,
I think your track record backs up this state.
I'm giving myself a pat on the back right now, Jifiri. It has to be said.
It has to be said. I think you're right. It's not to compare you to Mr. Beast, but people like Mr. Beast and stuff like that have discovered that formula and can replicate it across different. I think he said in one of his recent interviews that if I make a random username on YouTube, I can get that YouTube channel to 10 million subscribers within the same amount of time I got mine, because I know exactly what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not doing my hand in front of the camera. I just realized now. Maybe, but Lily will choke me later. Not a very good.
What?
200.
Already? We've just started. That's lovely.
Nice. That's probably more than this episode. But, you know, happy days.
That's 200 live concurrent viewers.
Which is pretty good.
Which is insane.
On Twitch, that is...
Twitch, that is insane.
On Twitch, that is enough to get you income from it.
If I ever had... I used to get income on Twitch. I myself, I used to do really well. In COVID times when we were on Twitch, I was averaging like 100, 120.
I remember.
Stream,
That's good.
When
Warzone
was full on. Yes. I mean, there's, let's say, Joel. If you see Joel, especially... Mind you, Twitch, you get the money from the subscribers, so it totally depends on how generous the people are feeling, more than anything. But I'm Joel. It's insane how well he's doing, like 1,000 plus subscribers, and that we're talking a good 2K a month. I mean, from Twitch.
We'll get you on this show then as well. We'll get him on this show then.
He's an interesting guy, and he's insanely good at the game. It's crazy, and he managed to create a niche as well. Because that, I think, when it comes down to social media and to virality, you have to try and test, and you have to believe the content is good. You have to not throw stuff for content's sake, because that will never work. That's pointless. You just fucking don't do anything straight away. If you're gonna just do it for the kicks, for your own personal show, for your own, what's the word, ego. I uploaded the video. That's not gonna work. Obviously, you have to find something that you think people might want to see. That's essentially what it is. And if it has never been done before, then that's obviously even better. And let's say Joel, what he managed to do is he was like the first guy, and I have to say he created a trend, because people are like copying his trend now, where essentially he will be, let's say, in the middle of a normal Warzone game, and he's driving and he's singing, and then he hears someone else singing in the lobby. He goes and he finds a congregation of people all singing, and then there'll be a guy at the end of the video with a rocket launcher who kills them all.
Okay.
And he has done this with multiple songs, and I have never asked him. I really want to ask him, but he has like a cappella music. I'm really curious if he actually records that stuff himself with his friends, because if so, then it's a bloody masterpiece what he's doing. I'm not sure if you find it. No,
you mentioned it.
They're insane how well he's doing, and people are loving it. And what was extremely clever of him is because he did so. If you believe it's a plant, if you believe it's a fake, if you believe it's staged, you're happy with it because it's a story.
It's still a good,
and it's still good and it's still well done. If you think this guy is trying to cheat you, if you think he's trying to fool you into believing it's real, well, it's obviously not, you get pissed off about it, and you comment and you share,
which increases the
activity. This is the same as us. There is this guy John on Buy to Bacon. He comments and dislikes every video of ours, and he's always there. I'm pretty sure he goes to his friend, to this one, to that one, to this one, or they should be ashamed of themselves at what they're doing. Thank you, brother. Really, thank you. I love it.
Any publicity is good publicity.
In this sense, yes. If you're a priest doing all the things, that's not good publicity.
No, of course. But that's the thing, I think, with social media that a lot of people don't understand. Like, for example, if I see something I genuinely hate on social media, my first reaction is usually to try and comment. But then no, I'm not going to, because the best thing you can do to damage someone on a social media post is nothing.
Exactly.
That's the best thing you can do, is not watch it, not interact with it, not comment, not dislike it, not like it, nothing. Because that's the only thing that's going to literally harm the next post or that.
And then there's the reporting.
Yes, of course.
Because there's the
reporting, it's subjective, right? Because we'll get into that later, actually.
All right, okay.
But like, offense is taken.
No, as in what I mean, like I have been, the amount of times, like those PlayStation versus Xbox videos you mentioned.
Yes.
I can understand how people don't like them and how they get offended, etc. But why would you report it? Every single one of them was reported on TikTok and removed by TikTok.
I remember actually.
Every single one of them. And then you appeal. You tell them, listen, dudes, there's nothing wrong in this. It's just a bunch of people who are hating. And then it comes back up.
I think back then TikTok was also very young and they didn't have enough
as well.
tools in place.
Possibly, yes.
I don't see mass reporting happening. To be fair, I'm not on TikTok as often as I was during COVID. But
I know. I hear stories of people who got just reported by groups of people, and they just lost their accounts because if you like plan stuff, I'm pretty sure there are people in groups. Let's go report this one. Everybody must report.
Oh yes, raiding a channel.
Sort of. So that's obviously that's the worst way. But that's if they're clever, the social media guys, they will realize that this was a coordinated like attack over the end of the thing. So
for sure. So I'm gonna start. So I went through actually we went through a production meeting to try and structure it a bit more, but we've not even started the questions yet.
It's good.
But all right. So question 1: why Sandmax? So what's the sand?
Mela, oh my God, people are gonna give me so much stick about this. So Sandy is my wife.
Right.
My wife's name is Sandy. I am Max, obviously, and 24 is our anniversary. So it's the most simp, whatever you want to call it, the most ass-licking gamer tag ever. to be totally honest with you, we just started like living together, and like the first present she bought me was the PS4 at the time. It just came out. So you're still in love. You're still I'm still in love. Don't get me wrong.
Okay. Yes, no, I know what you mean.
It's fresh love,
Yes.
I think so. Obviously we said, let's play some video games together. So we said, let's figure out a name to create a common account with. It was Sandmax24. She never played video games with me, and I kept Sandmax24 until now. I kind of like it. It has a good ring to it, to be honest.
It does.
And now it's stuck. Unfortunately, I can't remove it. I would believe it has to be this for a long time now. I was thinking of renaming myself to the Stallion, but I don't.
Yeah. Doesn't have the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the same ring.
I'm joking about the Stallion.
It's okay.
If anything, the poodle.
What? So a question for you, right? So in terms of you being a creator and your inspiration, where you get it from, and obviously we discussed a bit how you started and where you are now, but because you are a creator and you're constantly looking to create new things, like what are the challenges for you of keeping things fresh? Like in context with TikTok, you did multiple different kind of sagas, right? So you had the movies bit, then you had the PlayStation vs Xbox, then you had the Hiya saga, as I remember that, and I'm pretty sure you had many more that are running out. But how do you keep it fresh?
It's kind of, I'm not gonna say difficult, but it's just a question of constantly trying to do different things. I really believe that if you just settle for what you have and you don't try to innovate, to push the envelope, to do something new, then you're not gonna be fresh. Obviously, you're gonna remain as you were. Mind you, by being fresh, there's still always that element of me, because I think that's very important. You shouldn't try to be fresh just for the sake to be different. Mm-hmm. But a good example, for example, is the raps. I don't know if you saw the raps. That was like the biggest thing that I've done recently, and that made my Instagram go crazy. I was suffering on Instagram. Instagram is a bitch to grow. It's very difficult, and the crowd of Instagram wants that artistic edge. It doesn't just want plain comedy, unless you're big and you're insanely funny. You can't do basic stuff and grow on Instagram. My PS versus Xbox stuff did nothing on Instagram because it's too below standards for Instagram people. I can't explain it. They want something a bit more refined and polished that they themselves can't do. Sort of. That's the way I see it. So I wrote these raps and they did well, and straight away people were jumping on me to change the flow, change the way you're rapping. It's always the same song. It's always this. So people want the freshness that you're saying. But I think it's important to check what's out there. Check the competition. By competition, I mean fellow creators, not because I believe no one's really in competition, as we said earlier. And
it was off camera, so we'll get into that.
Yeah, it was off camera. And the way to keep fresh is to try and challenge yourself. I really try and challenge myself to create something new all the time. Especially, nothing is ever ready. You are not done. I'm a really firm believer of like practice makes permanent more than perfect, because you're never perfect. You're never there. So you always have to be an extreme critic of yourself and say, is this fresh? Am I being too safe? Am I doing the same stuff I've always done? And this applies not just on content. I believe it applies in everything, even in relationships. I mean, even if my wife says this, I'll be in big trouble. But I have to challenge myself to try and keep it fresh. You know, you have to try and be always a bit edgy in a relationship, to the extent that you can't just be plain and sit down on the couch and watch TV all day and not try. You know, you have to take her out for a dinner. You have to go abroad with the kid, and you have to, I don't know, surprise her with the flowers every now and then. This goes back and forth, obviously, from her to me. I'm not saying yes. But as in, everything requires, even a company, I don't know, I work in betting, even a company has to try and keep his ideas fresh. And the only way to do so is to be a big critic of yourself, I believe. I can't understand, to be totally honest with you, these people who, let's say, put out content and it's trash. It looks bad. The screen is blurry. There is nothing going on. The angles are incorrect, and I can't understand how they don't see it and say, listen, dude, there is the sound of a truck constantly in the background. I better retake the shot 2 minutes later when there is no truck.
Yeah.
I can't understand it, and I believe it's because they're not critical enough about themselves. You have to be really honest with yourself, how good you are, how bad you are, and be ready to not put your stuff out there for the sake of seeing you. Because the people like to see themselves, I believe.
Does it go up? Not does it? I mean, it's maybe a stupid question. I think it goes down to having a decent or a high level of self-awareness to do that, right? Being super self-critical.
I mean, I was taught from a very young age not to check what others are doing and just to see yourself. I really like to put myself in a box and whip as hard as I can anyway to see what I can do better, what I can do better if we do something incorrectly. I really get annoyed at myself. If someone else does something wrong, I really don't care, because it's you, dude. You know, it's not me. Like I cannot understand, for example, in Malta and in this political country we live in, because you have to say we're extremely political. Yeah. How there are people from one side of a political party, they are constantly badgering and bitching and moaning and complaining about the opposite party. Why? You have to look at what you are doing. Are you happy with what your party is doing, what your company is doing? This is like me saying I'm a supporter of AC Milan. It's like I am pissed off that Inter Milan are doing wrong business decisions. Why?
It doesn't matter.
I couldn't care less about what you are doing. I really want to see what I am doing. If me and my loved ones and inside people are doing something wrong, then I have to address it as quickly as possible. But out there, you just use it as inspiration, as what not to do and what to do. But you have to be a huge critic of yourself. So I believe that will help anyone in anything. Be it something creative, be it something, I don't know, anything, even just painting, anything. Literally.
I agree with you. I think I'm my biggest critic, and sometimes it gets bad. Like I'll criticize myself to the point where then I start doubting if what I'm doing was good in the first place. And that's then the hard balance. That's the balance you need to keep. I feel personally the balance I need to keep from. I don't want to be overly self-critical that I stop doing what I'm doing. Like the engine needs to keep moving forward, but you
have to be fair.
Yes, you have to be fair and say, listen, what I'm doing is decent, but
like this everyone. And you have to obviously. I mean, go within your expectations, within your limits, because I can't expect, even me, the podcast, I can't expect to have stellar sound, stellar everything right away initially. No, because I do not have the facilities to do that at the moment. I have a family. We barely make ends meet because life is a hassle. Life is expensive. I'm not ready to invest that much money on this. I have my kids, whatever. My kid. So obviously you have to be not lenient. You have to stick to your level of expectations, be it what it is.
Just consistently push to grow slowly rather.
Yeah, exactly, and always aim to improve. And that I think that eventually the freshness will come by itself. This was a long story to get down to the fresh part, but yes, I believe that to be fresh, you have to criticize yourself and want to genuinely improve. for the sake of the art that you're doing.
Yes, I think I can relate because the team and I put a lot of work into this humble podcast as well, but the amount of work that's required and
Insane.
keeping it fresh and trying to figure out who's going to come next and making sure that it's not very similar topics that we're talking about, that we change the questions up, even profiling the guest to a certain extent, so it's not very similar and all that, and what we're going to edit out, when we're going to release certain shorts and all that, and then all the stuff that goes behind the scenes, which you know more than me. It's definitely challenging, but then it's all about the output and what comes out of it. And for us, for example, our aim is to inspire. Your aim is to keep people entertained, make people laugh, and push the boundaries of censorship, which we'll also get into later on. So yes, I agree wholeheartedly. I think one more point that maybe would be worth talking is surrounding yourself with people that also can openly criticize the work that you are pushing out, and at the same time also encourage you to keep going.
Yes, for sure. And this thing of the criticizing is important, because there are lots of people who get extremely offended when you criticize them, man, and that's ridiculous. Why? I mean, obviously, if you're being criticized because you're being hated on purpose, if you get criticized just because people hate you, it's one thing. But let's say I have the close friend of mine, I told you, Cedric, we literally bounce off each other's criticism to the extreme, to a brutal amount. Dude, it's fucking horrible. Don't do it. It's useless. Don't waste any more time on this rubbish, because no one's going to care about it, And genuinely that he doesn't mean any harm, so you obviously need to accept it. You cannot get offended by criticism. But once again, the good point you mentioned is you have to be surrounded by people who give good criticism, because there are people who do not understand, unfortunately, and they also believe that their word is worth more than yours sometimes. So you have to be wary who you take and accept the criticism from. You have to know what to really take in and what to disregard. Get offended, never. That's what I don't think.
I think
because everyone has an opinion, everyone has a point, but you have to see and understand which criticism to take. For example, by the bacon, we're getting too much hate comments, too many hate comments. It's insane.
Do you actually read through them? Do you spend time?
I enjoy it.
I
love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The more I do it, I say, good. I'm doing something correct.
Guys, you heard it here. More hate comments.
Continue. I believe if you don't piss people off, you're not doing a good job in comedy.
Yes, I agree.
I really think that's the way you have to be. You have to piss people off, because it means you're hitting it home so hard that you are hitting the fine line. So it's there. And but from people in the industry, I mean, let's say JD, he knows lots of people through Vibe and through all the contacts he's made. He definitely knows more people than I do. They all say it's amazing what you're doing. It's something good. It's something that Malta needed. It's a even though it's probably not the most accepted, as you said, by everyone, so they might not like the genre and they might not listen to it, because some people tell me it's tiring. I can't spend 1 hour and 15 minutes of complete and utter nonsense. Some people can't do it, and it's fine. But from the people who actually have been working in this business and who understand, we never, or at least as far as I know, they have never told us, this is rubbish, you're not going to do well with this. So you have to know where to take the criticism, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. And it's all about, again, like the getting offended is just a waste of time. I think even sometimes, for me, even if it's an opinion I don't want to hear, I still try and figure out, can I take any value from this opinion? And sometimes you even need to challenge your own beliefs, because sometimes you think that something is actually really working, but you're like, actually, there's this point of, it does make sense. I could tweak this fine thing to maybe adapt to a wider audience, perhaps.
No, of course.
So it's very interesting. But I always say it always boils down to ego. Like it is, you need to put your ego aside, especially if you're putting content out. Yeah. For me, especially for me, starting this podcast, this is the first time I was in front of a camera in my whole entire life, or did anything creative. But I've been wanting to do it because I enjoy listening to podcasts and I wanted to do something and push myself. But yes, sometimes you get criticism, And I've had friends that I speak to them, oh, Isma, like, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. Don't wear a black shirt if you're on a black background.
Yeah.
But Lely told me, which is fine.
You asshole.
Lely, what the fuck? No, but Lily told, but then I got told by someone else as well. On the, like a day after, I was like, okay, message received. I shan't do it anymore, you know?
Spooner tells us constantly, we always tell him to go fuck himself. He tells us, go see, you were the same background color, shut up, Spooner. No, but you're right, ego, I think ego is a killer. Because it's, and even the reason as to why people make content, in my opinion, sometimes people do content just to like feed their own ego. I think that's ridiculous.
Totally.
Everyone always has a bit of ego. I am sure you're enjoying the fact that you're here and you have your own baby and you're doing it. I love the fact that I am my own boss, my own content creator. I do what I say. It fuels my ego. I'm seeing the likes. Obviously, I'm loving it. No one is going to say no to that shit. Of course, fucking forget it. But I never wanted to get into this to fuel my ego, just to make me feel better. The reason why I like comedy and I love comedy is because I honestly enjoy to make people happy. I enjoy making people happy. It's something which all my life I used to enjoy sharing. I used to enjoy giving. I just like making people happy. And comedy makes me do that. And then the same way it kicks a bit my ego. Yes. So it's a good take for take. But the main aim is not to push my ego in any way to make me feel better for myself. No, because and then, as you said, my ego can be easily damaged. If what I want to get out of this is a kick up in my ego, the second you put me down, then I'm going to get defensive and retaliative.
The lows are low.
And it's gone. So anyone who gets offended, I believe it's, as you said, it's a question of ego. Man, it's like you're hitting them hard where they never expect it. And it's just...
You just need to put it aside, I think.
You need to not have it, in my opinion.
Do you watch your own podcast episodes once they release? Like, do you sit and actually watch it? This is a personal question, just to compare what I
do. I watch my content constantly. People say they never watch their content. I think it's bullshit. I watch it because I want to see what I can improve. And seeing as how I'm a real critic of myself, I can genuinely say, okay, I said something funny here. This is a good joke. I will keep.
I struggle. I think I've only watched one episode of mine. Only because I think I'm insanely cringe on camera. Like I hate listening to my own voice. I hate looking at myself and how fidgety of a human being I actually am. So I struggle to look at my own episodes. I'll watch the reels and stuff, like obviously for the sake of quality. I'm constantly looking at how certain reels perform and all that. But like the full episodes, sometimes I put them in the background and listen to them. But I think I've only managed to do one full episode.
You get used to it, you get used to your own voice. At the beginning, you think it's rubbish.
I'm struggling, yeah?
I agree with you. But it's good. It's good that you do it. You know why? Because if you're going to see yourself and you are, as what you said, and you are a real critic of yourself, if you hear it and hear yourself and say, oh my God, I'm like an idiot. I'm so lame. I'm so stupid. You will inadvertently want to change that and spice it up. And you say, okay, this episode there was a bit more loose. It was better here. So you will learn from it, I believe. If you're there for the wrong reasons, which is fuel your ego, you would sit, you'd get a fucking popcorn and a Coke, and you just see yourself. Amazing. Look how good I am. I'm so happy I'm on the big screen, you know. So that's at least yes. Apparently you need it for the right reasons. But do see yourself. Do fight through it. I think you
talked about being looser. I think now that we can actually drink during the podcast because we're not in an acoustically treated.
Talking about like fueling his ego is like 400 watching.
400.
400.
I think we just hit a peak there.
Also, the fact that now the audience can actually hear Lely talk, you have no idea how happy I am. Well, Lely and Joanne in the background.
Because you were in the booth earlier.
Because he was in the booth too. So you would only hear very, very like faint.
That's cool. There is half people here. Yes.
We'll get a mic for you.
Next time, it'd be better if they'd be wearing clothes.
I know.
Yeah, man.
That's true.
What can you do?
Can you listen? So we have to cut costs. So.
Yeah.
The overheads are right.
Exactly.
But no, awesome. I mean, let's talk a bit about your podcast. I know we're talking about your podcast on another podcast.
Yeah, it's fine. Yes, it's good. No, not at all.
But how did the relationship between you and JD start, and how did you end up doing the podcast? And Spooner, sorry.
I moved from like the short comedy form to do the raps. That was like one of the chunks you said. And I was seeing the raps get a bit, not stale, but they're really difficult to keep up. It's a really hard job because you have to think of the raps, you have to think of the words, you have to find the celebrities, you have to find the photos, you have to create the Photoshop thing.
The flowchart.
The flowchart. It is generally a hard job. And I was getting a bit bored of it, to be honest, just because it's true. It's good content, essentially. People love it, so I'm assuming it must be something good. But it wasn't fulfilling anything huge in me, to be honest. At that same time, I wanted to start experimenting with comedy, so I started writing bits to prepare myself for a stand-up gig, because I'm currently trying to write a stand-up routine to try and maybe somehow gather the balls and then the energy to do a proper stand-up show. And so I said, let me test out some bits, some slide bits, and put them on Instagram, and I will see how the people react to it. It didn't do that well. It didn't do horrible, but it didn't do that well. So I said, I want to continue doing this, and apart from that, I am burning a bunch of content which I should really be trying in front of an audience, because I believe there's a huge difference between video and audience. It makes a massive difference. So I said, I'm going to stop doing that and try it in front of people. So, like, naturally what came through was the podcast, because with this I can start talking about topics I believe are funny, do some bits, and maybe try and get a wider audience to come in as well. So I had to find a sort of a sidekick to do this with. And apart from the fact that there was, in my opinion, something missing in the market, there was a gap in the market of a pure comedy-based podcast. There's John, who was like, I believe when we started 10 months ago, I dare say he's the only big podcaster
I think you're right, but I think that's a true statement.
And he's genuinely good at what he does. It's insane how well he manages to keep a conversation flowing for 4 months on the subject that he wants to tackle. He has politics besides, which is loved by lots of Maltese.
Yep.
And I believe that comedy as well is loved by everyone. And there is a huge need in general for comedy in Malta. We have these comedy shows, these like yearly ones, the comedy nights. This is the Black Condition. I don't know if I can mention them, but whatever. But there are these the Danosan, the standard comedy once in a year.
I think
chunk
they're
occasions.
very cultural.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like you can watch Italian comedy shows, and they're almost like, once you've watched enough, they almost blend into the same thing, because they're all very much the same style. And I think
totally.
and nothing wrong with that. I'm not getting me wrong, because I love Italian comedy. I also love some Maltese comedy. It depends on, like Dan O'Sullivan, for example, they used to get quite edgy.
Yes,
but
yes.
Within their time, So I do enjoy that, but as I said, they do tend to blend into the same
genre, sort of, and
yes,
and they are Italian, as you said. It's like the Aldo Giovanni, Giacomo style,
which is awesome to watch that shit.
Insanely good. But they are like it is stage character based sketches, which is cool, which is awesome, mind you. I mean, I would have thought of this. I spent, but then even on the TV, let's say there was Minimissu, the same. All the comedy based shows are all sketches and characters and scripted. This is something which I have I can't say problem with, but something which I think there is too much of in Malta. There's no real talk. There is no pure comedy. People being funny or trying to be funny. I'm not gonna put myself as
Which is why sorry, I moved away from the mic. Which is why I like podcasts, because you can script a podcast, but you can't really script a podcast.
No, it's different too. I mean, you'll have the points. Yes, you'll have some things here and there, but there's always an element of surprise. You don't know what's going to happen.
It's organic, like the people talking over each other, which is what I just did now. But there's you shift and you pivot into different conversations because it's interesting. I think I've always aimed to bring interesting people on the podcast, and obviously you don't lack interest, not at all. No. So absolutely, yes. So it's good to see you pivoting into another form of comedy, which is, as you said, needed in the country.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we're too serious, man, as a country. Everyone was way too
We're not
serious.
known
all
for
the time.
our sense of humor.
It's insane. Everyone is always too serious, and even every conversation is always about education. And then at 7 a.m. you switch on the TV and you see this presenter on a TV show talking about how the kids should go to mass in the morning. Oh my God, guys, come on, let's do something a bit spontaneous, a bit different. Not everything has to be about education and about lecturing and about let's pretend to be clever. Everything. Why is everyone trying to pretend to be clever?
It's a Maltese thing, though. I've noticed it as well. It's very very prevalent, and I think it's getting a bit looser, like within our generation and generation after ours. But
yeah.
We're very procedural as a country, aren't we? We're very stickler to the rules. As in, these are the rules. We cannot break the rules because it's going to be trouble otherwise.
Yeah, but it's rather than not break the rules, because the rules.
Let's not break the rules in front of everyone. Let's break the rules in silence.
And it's about the status quo, man. We love being happy with what we are and don't challenge the system, because you're being.
And I've been guilty of it myself, because it is drilled into you culturally as you grow up.
No, I agree. Then it's up to a point where you have to sit down and say, listen, what am I going to do about this? If you're going to try and do something in an artistic point of view, or this is at the end of the day, it's something artistic, correct? So it's good to. I mean, no one ever arrived anywhere. No one ever created a name. No one ever did anything new by remaining the same.
Yep.
You know, so try and be edgy. Try and push the boundaries slightly. And if you're lucky enough and you hit the correct stream, you will reap the benefits of it, obviously. But you have to try, and that was the reason why I wanted to do this. I with the fear of sounding maybe arrogant. And maybe, I don't know if condescending is the correct word, but patronizing is the correct word. I sort of want to... The dream of it all is to try and increase the tolerance in Malta increase the tolerance of tolerance.
I think you'll
you know
do
what I
that.
mean.
I think you'll do that with younger generations. I think you'll probably struggle with.
Yes, with the oldies, forget it.
shut
With
them.
the old guard, there's not a chance in hell.
Doing that.
Forget it,
It's a
big time.
stone wall right there.
It's fine. They can do what they
Yeah.
want. It's the kids that are going to grow up, and the kids that are going to be building a future for my daughter. They're the ones who I want to maybe hit and maybe let them say, he's doing nothing wrong. He's just talking about his sex life in front of everyone. There's nothing embarrassing to it. It's just stupid talk. Why are you so crazy and anal about this?
It's true. Like, I'll sometimes talk about, even with my, not my friends, but with like people, it's like certain things are just taboo and they don't need to be taboo. Last time we talked about, when Luca was on the show, we talked about people talking about how much they earn. It's like taboo in Malta. People don't like saying how much we earn.
Yeah, I never could understand that, to be honest.
It's like what? It's literally credits. It's life credits. It's not like it doesn't mean you're better than me or anything. It's just like, good for you. Like, happy days, man.
Yeah, yes, that's it.
It's not a competition unless we're literally in the same company, we're gunning the same job, or we're literally doing the same thing, and you realize that you're earning more. It's like, okay, that's a difference.
I mean, rather than competition, I am really happy when someone does well. I really wish that your podcast explodes and you will be running around in Mercedes and Porsches and whatever, anything. I wish you have 20 to sell every day. I really wish that it does well, because
Same.
Why not, man? Why not be happy for other people's happiness?
And we struggle to do that as a country. Not to continue shitting on this country, but we do struggle with jealousy a lot.
I think it's not just us. It's plenty of people, but the Maltese has something.
Maybe we see it more because we live here.
With their neighbors, yes. I think this thing that the competition people have in this country, I see it happening very often, even in the music scene. When you go abroad, you have people, you're playing music, everyone is there enjoying it. In Malta, when you're playing a gig and you're on stage, people are critiquing you. They're there, waiting, watching for you to slip up. They hope you make a mistake so they can have something to talk about. I get what you're saying. I agree what you're saying. It's not something that we're not like shitting on the Maltese people by any means, but we do have a bit of it, huh? I agree. Especially when you're doing well, the haters, they start coming from everywhere. It's incredible. The better you're doing, the more hate you're gonna get.
I've had a few comments. Not that I'm doing well, but I've had a few comments already. And to be honest, comments from people I did not expect the comments from.
Yeah.
You know, it's like close friends and with that cynical tone of like, who do you think you are? You know, and I'm like, listen, my bro, like I'm just literally like I'm doing this after work.
Esatto.
I've got a group of people that are not getting paid to spend a lot of hours to try and do something
special, something different, whatever,
something cool, something that
like.
doesn't exist,
Esatto.
something that we all enjoy, I think, right? So
We're spending money, not making
we're spending a lot of money, absolutely.
The meaning of life.
Would you like some water with your whiskey?
I'm gonna put some actually. Yes.
Good. Apparently, it's the way to drink it.
You have
but
to put
not
a
as
bit
much
of
as I
it.
put.
No,
Just,
you put a whole liter. That's not
just
that's
that. Well, you put as much as me now.
Yeah, it's
so.
fine. I wanted to last longer because when I got up from the chair, I heard his knees crack. And it's a bit.
I mean, listen, we're getting there. We're getting closer to 40 than we are to 30.
Agreed.
Cheers, huh?
Cheers. I'm a chin as well. Chin for the camera.
Eyes as well. You have to eyes. It's
Eyes.
my partner says like, look, when you cheers, you have to do the eyes. Otherwise, it's 7 years of bad sex.
What eyes?
You have to make
7 years of bad sex. That's the reason. That's the reason.
Jokes on you. So, question: how do you blend your full-time job, your personal life, your work, and then your on-screen persona? Because obviously, the Sandmax we see today is not the Sandmax that's on Buy to Bacon or on TikTok. I think
Sort of.
I think it's an augmented version. Right?
Yeah, I can. It is. People believe that that it's me. People believe I'm sure people believe that I'm stupid. I'm hamallu. I dare say uneducated because that's the persona that I tend to push off on the show. It's me asking dumb questions, really harsh ones. But no, I mean, it's not me. I believe everything is done and calculated for a reason. The reason why the podcast is that way, it's because we wanted to push that agenda. We wanted to push that tone of voice. We wanted to let the real the Maltese home guy, just shine. That's what we wanted to do. And people seem to want to be enjoying watching that shine. How many viewers are you, by the way?
Quick ego check.
Must have dipped. It must have dipped. I say 360.
467.
Hey, let's go. You were talking about that Maltese persona, and it reminded me. I think the first person to do it. Remember the Coco, my friend? What was his name?
Coco, my friend. Ray Calleia.
I think he started
That's
off
good, dude.
That
was a shock. And then there was also Paolo Barchponacci with the one with the shismo, with the wife beater and the big chain.
So there was always that need to have
because
it,
it's
but internet opened that channel because you could only do it through TV. So censorship really blocked the level you could do it at. But YouTube doesn't care.
as well. But they're overly acted. They're
yes.
I am being me. I am not faking it. I have that part in me. I have that hamallu loud, vulgar, straight to the point, raw, raunchy guy in me. I do have it. And I believe everyone does have it if they want to look deep enough, because I was raised in a balanced lifestyle. I have a very big education. My family was extremely strict with education, but they were not too strict on the etiquette side of things. They made sure that when I am visiting people, I'm at people, I'm smart, I'm collected, I'm good. But if I'm at home, I don't need to play and give an act. I can be myself. So they encouraged me to be me. And I found me because of the people I've come across all this life, the people I have enjoyed spending my time with, And to find a balance, I don't believe you need to find a balance. You have to be you, man. You just be you and do not fake it, because if you fake it, people will see through you. And that is why I think these things work, because both JD and I aren't faking it. But obviously, if I need to go on TVM show, I'm not going to be swearing
You're not
and
gonna start
shouting.
swearing,
No,
is it?
I mean, far from it. It's I know how to contain myself. I'm not a wild animal and I'm just running around. Oh, not swearing him, man. It's not the way I do things. So I mean, I graduated. I have a higher second. I went to England. I got a diploma on drums. I've done lots of
You've been around the block.
smart things. If you want to put it that way, but
Do you still drum? Do you still play?
no, I stopped the music. It was a big chunk of my life, big part of my life, and I had to decide if it was either the music, the bands, or this essentially, because the bands is a hard job. And
I've done when I used to play guitar and do gigs and stuff like that. It is like you have to rehearse so much. Like,
no, it's crazy.
you have a repertoire of 40-45 songs to do a night like a staff party or something like that.
I know we had original songs. We had our own stuff.
yeah,
And
which
I
is
don't,
hard.
and I don't know if you did your homework. This
No.
is a good one.
No, the answer is no.
I used to play death metal, like really harsh.
Double
full
bass.
on. Yes,
He was the death metal bassist as well.
I was. What used to play?
Psychosis was the name, but it was we never went
you never
live.
went live. I was with Abysmal Torment and Lot. And like Abysmal Torment, now I'm telling you, we have more followers, or they have now more followers than Ira Losko on Facebook. We're in the underground
Fair.
metal scene. We're huge. I've played in front of 3,000 to 5,000 people in festivals. It's
In Malta or
abroad.
abroad.
Switzerland,
Yep.
Germany, Poland, Russia. We had a 10-day tour there. The UK, Italy. I've been around Europe with the band, and that is why I had to take a decision and stop, because you need someone dedicated who is going to go to the rehearsal room 3-4 times a week to keep up the stamina, because that method is a very what's the word tiring impegnativo in Maltese. How do you say it in English? This is very demanding. That is a very demanding job to keep up with. You need stamina for that shit.
And people often,
time.
people who are not into music or maybe haven't played gigs, underestimate the physical requirements to actually play a gig.
It's insane.
Drums probably being the highest physical requirement, because you are just literally, it's a workout.
I'm convinced that's why I gained weight, because I stopped
you
the
stopped.
drums. Because I used to spend 3 to 4 hours at least every week in the rehearsal room, and like 3 stories underground and soundproof and sweaty men, everyone inside, like for like 2 hours of constant fast movement. And I used to be literally drenched. When I'm saying drenched, it's scary, wet. I used to have to go every rehearsal, take a change of clothes with me, because my underwear will be completely
Of course, you're sitting
completely
down.
wet. It's bad.
Yeah, I remember, I think the first gig I played was on Paranga, the St. George's Day. Well, I played at my own work staff party, and we had to rehearse for months to do this like little flamenco show, and we played flamenco. We were 3 guitarists. It was me, Anthony McAuliffe, you probably know. who
Yes,
he is,
it's Tony.
Tony and my cousin, pretty much, and we were playing, and we played there, and then when we finished, we had a 2-hour set. And when we finished, the organizer came, he was like, do another hour and a half. I thought, no, I don't have any more songs. It was like, just loop again from the beginning. I thought, I did, but my fingers were bleeding, playing an acoustic guitar for 3.5 hours.
It's heavy. You know.
And even though my fingers were, you had the
you
calluses,
reformed
because
the
I was
calluses,
there, it
exactly,
might
yeah.
still hurt like I'm, like,
No doubt.
it's crazy. So people often overlook that, especially people who haven't. So big respect. And that metal, even though I don't enjoy listening to it, there is the technicality
insane.
of that metal is insane. Like, there is no, I don't think there is a comparison.
It's different. It's different, but I can't really compare, because I think when it comes down to music, same as probably social media, whatever. Everyone has his own genre. Everyone has his own expertise. They have expertise. I'm trying to experiment with cooking videos now, also because I love cooking, but I still can't say I have perfected that in any way. I'm good with comedy, I'm good with sketches, and same with drums. I mean, I play death metal. I used to play. I was a beast at that, but I can't say that playing jazz is less technical than death metal, because it has its own.
But you went to jazz though.
Its own world. Like, anything. But all right, whatever. Progressive music. all right, you're going to tell me, let's say rock is a simple 4/4.
But
That's
like
fine.
big band
Punk.
drumming is also very demanding.
But even something simple, let's say AC/DC, correct? It's the most simple 4 on the floor beat
Or
ever.
Metallica.
Or Metallica. But I am pretty sure if people try to repeat that, 8 out of 10 people will get it wrong. Even though it's a simple tumpah, they will not get that feel, because drums is all about the feel as well, you know?
It's like guitar. It's like, for example, Keith Richards' signature. Like, I'm not a fan of Keith Richards. I like him, but I'm not a big, like, you know, I'm a big Page fan, for example, or I'm into Hendrix, and I'm into, like, the more Delta blues guys, you know, Robert Johnson, old school, Howling Wolf, you know, that stuff, Muddy Waters. But Keith Richards' signature is offbeat guitaring. His rhythm is unparalleled. You don't really, like, the way he plays the guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Is weird. It's not supposed to be played that way, but he does it in a way where it's catchy and you enjoy it, you know. And
Technically nothing marvelous.
no, absolutely
But
not.
the feel and
He'll
what
just
it
do
gets
the
out.
chord. He'll do the chord a half step before you should, before you should do it, and it just feels that. And then he'll do something else randomly. So it's very differently. I agree with you. It makes sense that there is no. I don't think there is a genre of music that's better than the other. But my point was, like, I think that metal just requires that level of technique. Needs to be very precise because there's so many notes that you can't fuck up.
Yes, that's true. You need to be
Like blues, you can,
on the ball. Yes,
like blues, you can make a mistake, and
And
no
you have
one
to make
you
a
have to
mistake.
make mistakes to play blues or jazz. As well.
Agreed. I know what you
Like
mean.
there's no such thing as a wrong note in jazz. You just build upon it and you just harmonize it, and as long as you finish across the lines, you know. But like with certain genres, I think if they're technically more demanding. You cannot.
Yeah, I know.
Like you can't play through the fire and the flames and play a wrong note because it will automatically because it's already like it's so fast.
Yeah.
Fire the flames is
I
death
get,
metal, but
I get what you mean.
without going too much into music, because I think we'll lose a lot of people. Well, you're learning guitar and you used to play, so you know we're all musicians.
Yeah, exactly. So let us talk about music. Let's talk about music.
Yeah. You used to play with a local band.
Band doesn't.
It's a proper band. What did you play with instrument, the guitar as well? Or?
Cool. I always.
That one. I love saxophone. I think saxophone is probably one of the sexiest instruments.
I always wanted to play the saxophone. My wife plays a good saxophone.
God. All right, we'll cut that out. No, we don't. All right, we have a few. Okay, so let's get into censorship. You are a big advocate against it, I would imagine.
Yes.
Why? So why are you against censorship?
I am a big believer that everything is allowed to be made fun of. I really think that there are no hold bars in comedy, and the reason being that you cannot draw a line anywhere, in my opinion, because what offends you might not offend someone else. What offends someone else might not offend you. So I think that the second society people start to close down on the ability of me to joke and to say things, I really think it might, in the greater scheme of things, so I'm going really further on about it, it might give way to censor other things as well to it. If I do not have the right to joke about a specific topic, why? The question is, why should I not be able to talk about this? So you are literally just doing it because I'm not hurting anyone. It's just the feelings. It's about people's feelings. Censorship, which is.
But where do you draw the line? Because then there is.
You can't draw a line.
You can't draw a line, but then there is what can be considered as hate speech.
Yes, then that's a different story.
Where do you draw the line between that?
You draw the line on the intent of the joke and who it was directed to, I believe. If I am joking about this cup, just because this cup is the way the cup is, and I am not directly talking towards the cup and trying to make the cup look bad on purpose to hurt it, then that's just me joking. If I'm doing it in a way and that I'm making this cup look like a useless cup. It has this red band on the right that makes it worse than any other cup because it has the red on the side, then that is sort of borderline hate speech, because you are putting someone in an inferior way. You're making him worse with your speech. But I'm not making you worse by talking to you about your reality or commenting about what I'm seeing about your reality. If I do it to hurt you and others like you, then that is the hate speech over there. But if I am just joking about what I'm observing, what I'm seeing, what happened, what might happen, what will definitely happen, be it how bad the situation is, then I am not advocating the bad thing that might happen. I'm just talking about a situation, essentially.
It's a very hot topic, because then the next question would be, so do you draw a line or do you not? Because then some people might find that funny. People who hate cups with a red band will find it funny if you do that, right?
Yes, for sure. But then
But then they're finding it funny for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly. You're not meant to find that stuff funny.
So that's where the question goes: is like, who decides what the reasons are? As in, do you see where I'm going? I think Jordan Peterson pointed it out. He was like, in history, when historians look at whether or not a kingdom or a nation was a tyrannical nation, is whether or not the king had a jester or not. Because the first thing a tyrannical king would do would execute the jester. If the jester made fun of anything political that the king did, or made fun of the king or the family of the king or anyone close to the king, and the king couldn't take the joke because he's a tyrant.
The tyrant, yeah.
He would execute the jester. And you could tell immediately that is the direction, the political direction that nation was taking. And you can see it in the modern world as well. There are certain things that you can't say in certain countries. Go to North Korea and do a podcast that you will be ousted very quickly, you know?
That's the end of me, for sure.
So censorship is a very hot topic because it is, I think it's malleable, subjective to the laws of that particular nation.
I got nearly cancelled once in Malta. I got the amount of hate I got was insane. And they put my family into it and everything.
Really?
I wrote a joke. I did a video. And the joke was, if it's too much, I'm not remove it. The joke was, I think it's a perfectly written joke. It's a crafty joke. It's just it's a taboo subject. Yes, that's for sure. It is a good joke. These are the jokes which abroad you hear them. You hear people touch these such subjects.
Listen,
in Malta, it's bad.
My biggest comedians I enjoy listening, like Anthony Jeselnik,
They're heavy.
Ricky Gervais. It's hit and miss for me. I like Ricky Gervais. It's like 80% hit, but there are some misses that I don't.
He has that arrogant stage presence, which either you like it or you don't. That's straight to point.
Pretty much. But then there's comedy like Lee Evans, was not offensive at all. Lee Evans is just
zero.
Just caricature comedy, I call it. She's exaggerated comedy. It's very Italian comedy.
Agreed.
When you think about it, but you get British comedians like Frankie Boyle.
So good.
What's his name? Sean. He died recently, a couple of years ago.
Sean Locke.
Hilarious, dry, like the driest comedy.
But British comedy is a world of itself. They have they're extremely witty. It's incredible, the subject.
They're very self-critical and cynical comedy compared to America.
Regarding the censorship, I don't know. I just really believe that the world cannot boil down to people's feelings getting hurt and people worrying, because that's what it is. It's just people. And the amount of times I have heard people on television, on social media, write and say the phrase, "You do not have the right to offend people."
Well, I do though.
Yeah,
in speech, right?
It really irritates me. I
agree with you.
I don't offend you because you're you. I offend you because of the things I say in a way that by coincidence they came across and hit you. I'm not directing my hate towards anyone.
Ricky Gervais says it's like when there's a poster of like guitar lessons and you take it and you go and I'm like, I don't want guitar lessons.
Exactly.
You go knock on the guy's door. Like
that's total and utter rubbish.
It is.
You have to be.
I think it's one thing getting offended, for example, in a group setting and somebody says something that knows is going to hurt you and you get offended. I think that's fair. Like if a friend,
Of course. So
if a friend knows that you're very sensitive about your receding hairline, right?
Of course.
Let's talk about me. And somebody like points it out, and this friend points it out 5-6 times in the same conversation, and you get offended. You'll be like,
And it's an asshole.
you're a bit
of
of an asshole. But if you're looking online and you Google things particularly that offend your value system or your belief system, and then you go and say, and you comment, I am offended, then you're really like, you're just looking for reasons to be offended.
Exactly.
So there's two different states. But when it comes to censorship, I agree. I think there needs to be a very distinguished line between hate speech and comedy. Things that are meant to offend and things that are meant to be funny and enjoyed by an audience that enjoy that particular comedian.
But censorship in Malta, unfortunately, it took the line of the feelings.
Yes.
It is. Because the jokes that people say abroad are way more widely accepted than the topics they talk about. The premise, just the base of the story is way more accepted than what there is said in here.
But I feel that even internationally, it's regressed.
Yes, it has. It's gone worse. Yes, for sure, because of this whole wokeness that's going on right now. It's incredible.
And let's be frank. I think wokeness has brought some good, but it's a rubber band effect, right? It's the same as politics. It's called the dialectic approach. I don't know if you've read any Karl Marx books or anything. Not that I'm a communist, but I enjoyed reading about it because it's a side of it's a political side that I was always much against, but not really like a believer in the communist agenda. So I was like, let me learn about it and let me try and change my mind. You know, the dialectic approach of politics is that it's a pendulum. So it goes one side or the other, it goes to an extreme, and then it goes to and then it reaches the middle for a bit, and then something happens and goes to one side.
Makes sense.
We've seen America go through, and the UK go through back and forth, right? I mean, there was this interview and said like, who do you think has arrested more people because of what they said, Russia or the UK? And the UK apparently like arrested like 6,000 people in the last 3 years because of things they post on social media. And Russia has arrested less. And we know Russia to be very harsh in terms of things, you know? So that's what I was. So it's a rubber band effect where it will go to one side and then it will go to the other side where it becomes too offensive and it becomes harmful to certain groups and communities, which it should never be the case. Because that's what comedy aims to shock people and really keep people connected with reality. And, you know, like how quickly can you joke about a tragic event, for example? And there is that timing.
It would take a long time to grip the reality of a disaster, which is fine. I agree. Okay, feel upset. And if I say a joke about it, and the majority is upset, do let me know I am overstepping, and do let the person know that they're overstepping. But it cannot be labeled as hate.
No, I don't think it can be.
And it cannot be censored. If I am seeing something that is there, and I am just commenting on something that is real, do not construe it and turn it as hate speech. And that is the problem with censorship, in my opinion, that there is a fine line. But more often than not, it's the agenda of feelings that are being hurt. That's why people are censoring stuff, to suppress people's feelings, not to actually stop the actual hate speech. Because it's fine to be in the road and swear and call people by their names, and then there is derogatory words for homosexuals. The word with the P word in Malta, that's derogatory as hell. You can't say that. And it's used by everyone, no problem. It's not a problem. It's easy, but that's fine.
It's two weights, two measures, right?
It's insane. I can't understand.
We're back. Slight technical issue.
Yeah, it's fine.
Slight technical issue.
You bought my patience with
another whiskey. We were talking about censorship. I think we wrapped that up very nicely.
And thank God the camera failed, because we would have continued talking about
I think so. I think we would have probably extended it.
And I talk a lot. I'm very sorry about that.
No. If you didn't talk a lot, I wouldn't have got you on the podcast. Imagine coming on a podcast and not talking.
Imagine just saying it.
Yes, no, just one word.
Yes.
What's your inspiration? Comedy.
Milk.
Milk.
Random stuff.
All right, so what we're gonna do is something new. We've introduced this for 2024 because 2024 is all about trying new things.
Exactly. Let's go.
And we're gonna
I'm trying again it tomorrow.
God, okay.
Out as well. Cut it out.
No. We'll keep it as a joke. The Max version of a joke. Sorry, Max humor, not version. It's Max humor. Quick fire round. A few questions, and I want you to give me your answer. Quick.
Honest, serious answers. Whatever I wish.
Be funny.
All right.
It's up to you.
Let's try. All right,
What's your favorite TikTok that you've done?
Favorite TikTok that I've done? There is one when I am pretending to be a kid, and it's called when parents have no boundaries, and the kid asks the parents where the babies come from, and it just escalates from there.
Okay, let's stop it there.
It's up to you. It's up to you to see what it goes on.
Okay, who's your favorite comedian?
Dave Chappelle, hands down.
Dave Chappelle. Yes, he's very shocking.
No comparison.
Okay.
He's my number one.
Next question probably answers itself then. American or British comedy?
That's a different story, but because I cannot see lots of American comedy, but I can see lots of British comedy. But because British comedy is very it's different to Shismu. So if I'd have to choose what not to ever see, I believe I would rather have comedy, British comedy forever, like Monty Python is classic, and it's like I
Ahead
prefer
of their time. Still
relevant, still there. Yes, it's insane. So I think I would prefer British comedy on a whole than American, to be fair.
Favorite video game of all time?
Metal Gear Solid 1. Definitely, there's no. That's definitely the best.
Very good.
Yeah, there still is. I used to have to.
He still has it as the ringtone, which is annoying as hell.
I haven't said when my wife calls me. Oh my God, trouble's coming! What's happening here?
This question, I think you already answered. Did you ever get in trouble because of a TikTok skit or something you said?
Sort of, not real trouble. It depends what you mean by trouble. I've caused commotion, I've caused hassle because people are too what's it called? Too uptight sometimes. But I can never say trouble, really. Not really trouble.
Okay. As your popularity grew, did you get any weird or interesting DMs?
Never. I'm really upset about it. I'm really upset about it. No one has asked to fluff anything. No one has asked anything of any sort. I'm really
Shout
upset.
out to anyone who's watching this right now. Get into Sandmax24's DM and send him something interesting.
And we honestly said this on the show recently. We had a podcast, and we actually said it that if anyone who sends us these things, we will read them live on the podcast. So if you do it, you get a response.
Do buy to Bacon a favor.
Give us something. Give us something, please.
Give them they're running out of content.
Let me believe.
Get them some. PlayStation, Xbox, or PC? And why PC?
I miss the PlayStation. I haven't touched it in a long time. I've been on my PC all this time. I miss the couch gaming. If I'd have to choose to do one forever, I would sit on a couch, big ass screen TV, and game on the couch. The PC, I associate it too much with work nowadays. I don't zone out. So I would go for couch.
You can't play World of Warcraft on PlayStation.
That's true. But I am over the age of 16, so I don't play World of Warcraft anymore.
Cool. Next question. All right. Well, that's actually the quick fire round over. So thank you.
I gave you a bit of a
great ending. It's fine.
A bit of a bite to bacon.
My ego is shattered now. Cheers. Thank you very much, bro. We're gonna close, but before we do that, can you film a quick advertisement for the GrowUp podcast? So look in this camera right here. I want you to do a monologue promoting the podcast and getting people to watch, like, share, and subscribe.
To watch, like,
share, and
subscribe.
Can you do it? And then we are going to use it as our main advertisement, and we're not paying you a single penny.
So I have to lie. You put me on the spot here, even though you told me. I forgot about the spot.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I could have prepared a bit better for it.
We didn't prepare for it. Oh yeah, I did tell you. Yes, we did.
No, you did. You did mention something briefly. I didn't
paying attention.
Possibly I wasn't. Yeah, your voice was drained.
It just drained. Half my partners the same, and most of my friends. They do.
No, joke.
My voice tends to just blend in the background.
Yeah. So, are you bored at home? Do you have Nothing to do. Do you want to evolve your mental capacity? Do you want to see fat people talk? And by fat, I mean me, so that no one gets offended. All right? I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. Come join us here at GrowUp. The GrowUp?
GrowUp podcast.
GrowUp, not Grown Up. Sorry. We restart.
No, that's why it's a free ad. Oh. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you.
Fiverr, €2.50.
No, I'll get the name of your organization wrong. Perfect.
Come join us on what?
Grow up.
Grow
Grow up. Grow up podcast.
Okay.
The Grow Up podcast, if you want to.
The
Grow Up podcast.
the grow. Come join us on how to the grow. I'm doing this on purpose, you know, right?
Really? Oh.
No, guys, listen. This is me. This is me, finally me, the loud one. He's fixing the monitors up because I'm making him swear with all the loudness that's coming out of my face right now. Honest to God, had a beautiful time here with the guys from the GrowUp. I know. This time it was real.
It's okay. Just do it again. No, it's okay.
This time it was real.
Be yourself.
No, guys. Thank you very much for having me here. Guys, follow them on all their socials, on Facebook, Instagram, you're everywhere, correct? You're pretty much
yes, we're trying to fix Instagram. We had an issue with when the account had blocked us out for some reason, but we're appealing.
Blocked you out of
I don't
Instagram?
know. We have like 30 days to sort it out, but we'll get there.
So they will get there. So follow them on Instagram in 30 days. And no, it was a really good time. I enjoyed this series. We had a good conversation. I haven't talked this serious and this open in quite a long while. I'm not going to tell you I'm tired of being stupid and banal for a good hour and a half all the time. But it's good to get some serious talk out. And try to be a bit more. What's the word? Intellectual.
Oh, okay.
Sort of, because I do love these talks, and it's good that there are people who are talking about these things as well. So congratulations, keep it up, guys. Give them a follow. You know where to find them if you're seeing us, then you should know.
I mean, they should, right?
Yeah,
but we'll post the reel anyway.
Everyone starts small.
Yes, you have to slowly grow.
And then it's all a question of a humbling evolution. You know,
consistency. Oh,
yeah, like even when you're with your partner. Let's face it, you start small, and then you grow, and then after the 1 minute 20 seconds, you're small.
Oh my God!
Understood?
Yes, I didn't even know where you were going with that because I don't know how you got to that stage.
1 minute 20, right? That's way too long.
Well done.
Okay.
Yeah, that's average. That's like record for sure. But no, listen. In all seriousness, thanks for coming. First of all, thank you for your participation and all the great topics that we talked about. I want to give you the opportunity. Do you have any upcoming episodes, projects you want to talk about, promote? Not that it's, I'm sure you have your platform to promote it on, but
it's just follow us on Buy to Bacon if you want to come and see, and just give us much help and enthusiasm, and try to listen and try to get involved in Maltese content creators. I see we're growing on our eyes. I'm really happy that this is a growing space. People are trying. So do support Malta and Maltese content. We are growing, and this is what we need. We need some backup from everybody else. But apart from that, you can follow me everywhere, Sandmax24, and Buy to Bacon. Just do you guys. It's totally fine.
Just
come what may.
Do or do not. I do not care.
That's the beauty of it. You really must not care. You really must not care, because if the second you start caring, then it's a problem. I mean, I do care, mind you. If I put a video and I see, my God, this has only 20 views. What the hell is going on with this one? What's wrong? But you shouldn't. Just go with it. Move on. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, do whatever you enjoy.
Do whatever you enjoy. One last thing as well. If you had to say one thing to the whole world, what would it be?
Cheer up, be happy, be kind, and be nice. People find it really difficult to be nice. I can't understand why people are just not nice and happy to everybody else. If everyone is nice and everyone is just compassionate and just trying to be a good, then the world will be much better. Let him pass, the guy in the traffic, Yahasra. Let him a bit, something small. If you see the lady coming with a bet soon, let her skip you a bit, and slowly it will grow and then push forward. So yes, just
Thank you. Good point.
That's
Love that. Be kind. Be kind always. It's very, very, very important.
And it's easy. It's really easy.
Very easy.
It's really easy.
It's much harder to hate.
I believe so. Yes.
It takes so much effort, right?
I really think being nice is the easiest thing to do. Thank you. Say thank you to the bus driver, Miskin. He might not understand you, but tell him thank you.
No, but seriously, thank you very much. Thanks to all the viewers that have watched this episode or tuned into the previous ones as well. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all the socials, all the things. We are available on Facebook. We're available on LinkedIn. We're available on YouTube.
They're going to start Patreon soon. We're going
to start the Patreon soon. Thank you very much. We're going to start the Patreon soon. So watch this space. We're going to have some cool sponsors coming in as well, which we're going to announce on the social media probably by the time we release this episode. I'm not going to say anything just yet, but I will give a shout out in the next episode as well, or probably we'll film it separately and do it as well. Wait, what's this?
The banner.
Oh yeah, so the banner is going to be down here. Yeah. Banner is going to be down here. Watching the banner right now. Let it just go and play. And thank you very much for following. You're making this, you're making our dream come true. We're having a blast filming this. We're having like some cool guests coming up this year after Sandmax, obviously.
But listen, I was the first one of the year. Yeah,
you are the first one of the year. Starting off with a bang. Not the usual guest that we get, but it's our first comedian we had as well.
Yeah. And it wasn't too comical today. I went on the serious route.
We went to the dark ages.
Yeah, we stayed
path, and
we stayed really serious. I could go next time. I'll come here. I'll be a bit more comedy based.
Next time. Catch us in the next episode where Sandmax will come again. We're just going to have another conversation. We have some really cool guests. Yeah.
First episode of each year.
He's already trying not to get me. He's already postponed me for a year. You see the
2025. Oh. We'll see. 2025.
We're ready. Yes, fine, whatever.
We will go merging with By the Way. It's not going to happen.
The serious corner.
We have some really cool guests lined up for this year. We have some really cool CEOs coming on with like super cool companies. Trying to really push the boundaries of technology, trying to push the boundaries of sustainability, tech, you name it, nice. We're going to get them. So really, really cool. But listen, thank you for coming. Super humbled by your presence. Cool guy. Really had fun.
Same with you guys. Thank you so much. It was easy to work with you guys. I mean, we spoke. When I spoke, I thought we kicked it off right away. So like-minded people always have a good time together. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.